Number 7 reads, each student in Miss Clark's class is decorating a shirt for a school program. There are 25 students in the class. Miss Clark already has 3 shirts. She will buy shirts in packages of 6 shirts. She cannot buy part of a package. Part A, create an inequality using only the given numbers to represent the situation, where P represents the number of packages of shirts. B, what is the minimum number of whole packages of shirts that Ms. Clark needs to buy? So the first thing we should do here is start underlining important information. So I see some important information. They say we have 25 students in the class, which in this problem means that we're going to need at least 25 t-shirts. We know that Miss Clark already has 3 shirts, and she will buy shirts in packages of 6 shirts. And then we also see in part P that P is going to represent the number of packages of shirts. And in part B, we see that that's what we need to find, the number of packages of shirts that Mrs. Clark needs to buy. So we always want to start off remembering that our variable is represented as the packages of shirts. So P represents the packages of shirts. Now, a lot of times when we have a two-step equation or inequality, it's important to think about if there is a total. So go ahead, take a minute to think about, do we have a total in this problem? And what is it? 25? Is it 3? Is it 6? So we see in this case that we have a total of 25. That's 25 students, so we're going to need at least 25 shirts for all the students. So that's going to be a total that we put on the right side of our inequality. Now, if we need at least 25 shirts, that means we have to either have equal to 25 or we have to have greater than 25 shirts. So I know that the total of shirts has to be greater than or equal to 25. Now, what makes up that 25? Well, we know that we have the shirts that Miss Clark already has, so the already purchased shirts. And then we also have the shirts that are in packages that need to be bought. So the shirts in packages to be bought. And we know that together, that number of shirts has to be greater than or equal to 25. So that means we have to add those amounts together. Now we know that we already have 3 shirts purchased. We know that shirts come in packages of 6. And we know that our total is going to be greater than or equal to 25. Now take a minute and think about it. Which of our 2 numbers, 3 or 6, is P going to go next to? So we know that P is going to go next to 6 because we want to multiply the number of shirts in each package by the number of packages that we're buying. And this 3 is the amount that we already have. That's not per package. So our inequality for part A, and the answer that we're looking for, is 3 plus 6P is greater than or equal to 25. Now in part B, they're asking us to solve it. It says, what is the minimum number of whole packages of shirts that Mrs. Clark needs to buy? So I'm going to rewrite my inequality to start out with. 3 plus 6P is greater than or equal to 25. Just like with any equation, I'm going to draw a line down my inequality sign. I'm going to start off by taking away 3 from both sides because we undo addition before we undo multiplication. So I'm going to take away 3 from both sides. That leaves me with just 6P on the left side. And go ahead on your own and find what you get on the right side. So we see that 25 minus 3 gives us 22, and the inequality sign stays the same because we're not dividing by a negative. Next, I want to divide by 6. And in this type of problem, since we're going to have an exact number of packages, really when we divide, it's okay that we get a decimal out. Now we could write it as a decimal or as a fraction. So 6p divided by 6 gives us just p. Our sign stays the same because we're not dividing by a negative, we divided by a positive. 22 divided by 6 gives me 3.6 repeating, or 3 2/3 packages. But we all know that when we go to the store, we can't buy 3 2/3 packages. We have to buy full packages, just like we see at the top. We have to buy whole packages of t-shirts. So take a minute and think about what you would write as your whole number of packages of shirts that you would need. So we see that we need at least 4 packages of shirts, and we rounded up because if we rounded down, we would not have had enough t-shirts for the 25 students. And we also see that P has to be greater than or equal to 3.6 repeating, so we have to go up to 4. So what we see is that Mrs. Clark needs to have at least 4 packages of shirts on top of the 3 that had already been purchased.